What's going on, everybody? This is Urban J Reviews, and today we're going to talk about things to have in your prepper pantry. So if you're thinking about preparing for any sort of situation, grid down, that's what this video is going to be about. Let's get into it. So the first thing you really got to think about is how you're going to cook this food, whether it be canned foods, non-perishable food items. How are you going to cook it? Well, how about a propane stove? But if you're going to use one of these Coleman's here, which is actually the stove that I recommend because of its efficiency, size, utility, everything like that, you're going to need to make sure you've got enough of these. So can you have enough of these? I don't know. I mean, that's the big thing. But in a grid down situation, propane is your best friend. So having a backyard barbecue propane like this, great stove like this, you've got your propane right here, and then you have your backup propane. And how many of these backup propane tanks can you really have? Well, I don't know. It depends on how long you anticipate being down and how much you're going to use it. All right, so non-perishable food items, they're typically canned goods or things that you can dry out and store for long-term shelf life. So they don't require any sort of refrigeration, and that's what keeps them from spoiling, right? So they can be stored at room temperature, in your cabinets, in your pantries, as long as it's room temperature, typically 72 to 76 degrees. Something like this though, this is gonna have up to 25 years of shelf life. So that's the benefit of getting something like this from ReadyWise, or we'll put some links to these products in the description so that you can pick out some of these if you're having a hard time finding them or finding the exact products. We'll try to get you similar like products, right? All right, so when it comes to water, having these 5-gallon BPA free jugs, I mean, how many do you need? It just depends. 5-gallon like this, you could go through that in about, I don't know, a week or 2 weeks, depending on how much water you're using. Something like this, water filtration system, even having a Berkey. I'll put a link to a Berkey in the description so you guys can pick that up. But depending on how many members of your family there are going to depend on how many of these 5 gallons there are. Now, another thing that some people do is they'll use their pool as a backup water supply. Okay, so something like this, a potable water, liquid like this is really good to have around, especially if you're going to do what I'm going to show you next with this jacuzzi outdoors. Yeah, so the good thing about having a pool or a spa or some sort of body of water, even a pond like I have over here, is these can function as a water tank, believe it or not. And what you would do is you would get one of these heavy duty polyurethane tarps, and you put it over this, obviously as airtight as you can make it, and this would preserve your water, backup water supply. So having one of these body of waters in your backyard allows you a backup water supply, which I think is pretty useful. Yeah, so some other things you would want to have in your pantry would be like a medicine cabinet or vitamins. So some of the vitamins that I consider useful, obviously a 1 a day or a multivitamin. Vitamin D is really important. Magnesium, iron, and even some Tylenol or ibuprofen. In the pandemic that we just had, having colloidal silver has proven to be useful for some people. And another thing that can be pretty useful is alcohol. So vodka obviously has a strong alcohol scent. Can that kill some things? Yeah, I mean, it can kill things in the back of your throat. It can maybe even kill bacteria on your wounds. So right here I have some Bacardi, which is obviously rum, but vodka, having a backup supply of alcohol can never be a bad thing for hygiene. Yeah, so having hygiene products around, antibacterial kind of stuff, obviously hand sanitizer is really important. Having soap, antibacterial soap, washing your hands help prevent botulism or some sort of bacteria, having all that around. Bleach works for a certain amount of time. It has a shelf life issue, so you got to use your bleach really quickly. So sometimes bleach can be important or good to have around because it kills 99.9% of the germs, but at the same time it does have shelf life. I found these to be really useful because they're kind of like bleach that spray. It's like spray bleach, but it kills, you could see it kills cold, flu, and strep. Daily surface cleanser. You can even spray this stuff on your hand in a worst case scenario if you need to get the bacteria off. I mean, when it comes to food ideas, you can get a whole variety of things. These Vienna sausages in a can, you can load up on these. And now they're not the most nutrient-rich foods you'll get. Same with Spam here. But hey, in a worst case scenario, this stuff will keep you fed, right? These are canned foods. So some of the best canned foods you can get are going to be things that are nutrient-rich, like this. You can see it's got carrots, it's got beans, mushrooms. Something like this is going to help you out a little bit more than something like rice that doesn't have very much nutritional value to it. So having these Cliff bars around for carbs and calories, you could also get power bars, but something like this is something like you could have for breakfast. Now pasta is really good for carbohydrates. You can get some canned pasta, you could get macaroni and cheese pasta, or you could get ramen pasta. Having any type of carbs like that around, I would say, would be a good idea if you need calories and carbohydrates. And some additional ideas, just food for thought, if you want to call it that. This here, almond milk, bread flour, you've got peanut butter, and you've got honey. So all good options to have around. Probably better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Now when you're buying products, it's best to buy them in bulk. So as you can see, I bought this in bulk. Most of the stuff you're going to want to buy is for in bulk. So you're going to need light in your house. So having candles, buying a big box of these in bulk, these Julia Home tea light candles, flashlights, so headlamp for cooking. You're not going to hold a flashlight. You're going to have a headlamp pointing down at the food while you're cooking. Having a mask, having these masks, these can work. You can also get the mask that you just kind of slide up over your nose. Now, when it comes to disposal, having some bags like this, these are contractor bags. These are not just your everyday bags. So having these brute tough contractor bags for trash disposal, that's a good idea. And then fire, you're gonna need some fire starting equipment. Obviously the first level of fire starting stuff is gonna be a lighter and matches, but beyond that, you're gonna need other tools for long-term fire starting if that's the case. And then can you really have enough batteries? I mean, how long will you need to be without power or whatnot? So lots of batteries. I mean, we can go down the line with batteries all day long, but these, double Ds, all sorts of different batteries. So this is pretty much our list. So this is obviously a lot of stuff to buy or have on hand, but the whole idea is if you have it around for about a year or so, start cycling through it and replacing it. So if you're going to use these, the batteries, just make sure you have this kind of backup supply on hand. And for however many people are in your family, you're going to have to take that in consideration here. So hope this helped you guys. And this is our list for pantry food preppers. Thanks for watching Urban J Reviews, and watch some of our other videos.